Is there anyone else in here that is going through tremendous interchange and transformation?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Like I am.
Yes, I am. Some of it's not so pleasant.
Is there anybody else in here that's absolutely reached their limit in some area? That you have done it enough this way? Okay.
Yeah, right? Yeah, here we go.
Okay, so today I'm going to go through everything I possibly can in an hour that these truth teachings are teaching us, so that I can hear the way out. The story is only useful if you're going to take the story and you're going to apply the truth to it. Telling the story, telling my story over and over and over again, unless I'm going to use my story as a way for me to wake up, is really a pointless thing. And I realize I have a lot of stories that I run down. So I'm going to start with lesson 335 in the course. And I'm so thankful, and I'm so glad that you're here. Could everybody look me in the eye for just a minute? I need to make eye contact, even though since I don't have my glasses on, I can't see your eyes. But okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Lesson 335 of the Course in Miracles, that we know we don't have to believe. We don't have to accept. And I'm going to make this real down to earth for us, so I want to ask your permission to just let 33 years of obsession come through me right now. I want you to think about a person that, when you think of them, you don't give yourself complete peace.
Oh God, which one?
Pick the latest one. Okay? And I'm gonna pick mine. And it's okay to put yourself in there too. I choose to see this son of a sinlessness. Forgiveness is a choice. Forgiveness is a choice. Forgiveness is a choice. The Course in Miracles says forgiveness means correct perception. So wherever you see the word forgiveness in the Course, you could just say correct perception. So forgiveness is a choice. Correct perception is a choice. I never see the person as the person is, for that's far beyond perception. So I never see you as you are, because who you are is beyond what I can see. You can't see me. In other words, you can't see me, and I can't see you, because who you are is beyond my judgments of who you are. He says, what I see in the person is merely what I wish to see. So whatever I'm seeing in the person that I'm upset with, or the people that I'm upset with, I'm just seeing what I wish to see. And I'm also seeing what stands for what I want to be the truth. In other words, if I look at you and I see what I want to see, I'm just seeing what I want to be the truth about you. So if I'm upset with you and I'm mad with somebody right now, I'm seeing what I want to see, and I want them to stand for what I want to see. So if I want to see a reason to be, if I'm mad at you, I need to see a reason to be mad at you. So the fact that I'm mad at you is going to produce something for me to be mad at you about. My desire to see you that way creates something that stands for that. It is to this alone I respond, however much I seem to be impelled by outside happenings. No matter how it looks like your anger is coming from something that happened on the outside, the truth is you're just seeing what you wish to see, Raj, and what you see stands for what you want to be the truth, and you're responding to what you want to see, and not by whatever you think the outside thing was that made you upset. Then it says, I choose to see what I would look upon, and this, what I choose to see, is what I see, and only what I see. So I'm choosing to see what I look at, and I'm seeing only what I've chosen to see. If that's true, then that's happening right now. You are seeing what you're choosing to see. So what we're experiencing right now is exactly what we're choosing to see. This is exactly what we're choosing to experience. And it says right here, my brother's sinlessness shows me that I will look upon my own, which means that if I see you guys as beautiful, and I see you as innocent, and I see you as cool, that's because I've finally chosen to look on my own coolness. That's the only time I'll ever see y'all is okay. The only time I'll ever see you is okay. The only time I'll ever see you all is loving and beautiful and wonderful. It will not happen until I'm ready to see myself that way. So that's bottom line. So if you don't see nobody in your world to love, it's because you don't love yourself and you're not ready to see the love in yourself yet. That's what he's telling me. Earl, you're not ready to see how loving you are, so you don't see nothing loving about anybody around you. But the minute that you see something loving about somebody else, that's your way of knowing that you're now sincere about finding love in Earl Raj Purdy. So how can I tell when I'm really sincere about loving myself? As soon as I'm willing to start to see you beyond the thing I'm angry at you about. Then it says, and I will see it, my own innocence, having chosen to behold my brother in his holy light. So as soon as I choose to see you as innocent, then I will see my innocence. I'll see it. Up until then, I won't see it. I used to believe that it was all about me telling myself positive things all the time. And the Course was saying, yeah, that's cool. But if you have to stop fooling yourself, and the way you stop fooling yourself is to use your physical reality as a way of getting in touch with what you really believe, as opposed to what you're saying you believe. So let's do that. You say, well, okay, do you see innocence in front of you, or do you see people who are guilty, bad, upsetting you in some way? Well, yeah, I see people who are guilty, bad, and upsetting me in some way. He says, well, that's how you can know that at this moment you have not made the decision to see yourself differently yet. Even though you're telling yourself you really want to see yourself lovingly, now you want to know how you can tell when you're really serious. When you're really serious, you start to see innocence in somebody else. Not in you, somebody else. I went, that's different. And then it says, then the prayer goes, what could restore your memory to me except to see my brother's sinlessness? His holiness, which is his innocence, reminds me that he was created one with me and like myself, and in him I find myself, and in your son I find the memory of you as well. So this is where you make that real. You go, God, what could restore your memory to me except to see the people in front of me as sinless? These people's holiness and innocence is going to remind me, his holiness is going to remind me, your innocence is going to remind me that you were created one with me. Just like myself. So in you, I'm going to find myself. In you, I'm going to find myself. And in you, I remember what love is. So it's in you I lose myself, or it's in you I find myself. That's why you relate. That's why I'm so picky about the people I allow myself to be in intimate, close relationships with. I do not kid around when it comes to who's going to be close to me. I'm going to make sure anybody that's talking to me on a regular basis that's close to me, I want to be hearing something loving and helpful and supportive. And it's okay if you don't. It's like I don't care if other people don't, because it's okay. We're innocent. We're all innocent. But I know that my reality is going to be based on how much innocence I see, and I'm a cheat. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to cheat. I'm going to surround myself with people I like. Because I figured if I love you and I like you, then there's no strain to see you as innocent. And since there's no strain to see you as innocent because I like you, then I'm going to go really quickly to that point that I see my own innocence, because it's not a problem seeing yours because I like you. I used to surround myself with people who seemed to present me constantly with challenges that it was always my task to try to see them in another way and try to make myself like them and love them. And that's because I wasn't ready to see my own innocence yet. And since I wasn't ready to see my own innocence because I thought I was guilty, then I had to make sure I was around people that I couldn't forgive and people that I had grievances with. Because people that I have grievances with keep me from seeing their innocence, which keeps me from seeing mine. It's you you're trying to get. It's you you're trying to take revenge on. It's you you're trying to punish. Now, any questions about that before I go to the next thing? I got some stuff I want to cover today that's going to be scunnion. And it's okay. Do you know that it's been scientifically proven that people's minds wander? So what I'm saying is I expect it, and it's okay if your minds wander during my class. Do you want peace?
Yes.
Okay, your hand up.
So sometimes I'm around people who are loving and kind and I love, and then sometimes I'm around people who drive me crazy. So that means that my mind is split in some way, huh?
Exactly. But you know something? That's going to be the thing that's going to give you the most peace one day. See, the ones you know, it's two of you. The ones you understand, there's two of you. Then you're on your way to peace.
Oh, yeah.
See, you can't have peace until you realize there's the spiritual cool you and there's the psycho you. If you do not acknowledge the psycho you, you'll never be free. You'll never have peace. See, some people think being spiritual means never admitting that there's a psycho you. And when you do that, you since you do have a psycho afraid you, then you have to project that psycho you out, away from you. And then the psycho you becomes the people in front of you on TV, in the movies, in the newspapers, and the friends that you don't like. They're just nothing but projections of your denied psycho self. So, that's why he was telling us, I'm going to see what I wish to see, and then I'm not going to see what I don't wish to see. But you can always tell when you're denying what's in front of your face and pretending it's not there, because it causes you pain. So pain is the way you let yourself know instantly that you're deceiving yourself. If you would just stop right there and then remember anything outside of this whole class, I'll say it again. Hurt and pain is the way you are made aware that you are thinking incorrectly about something, that you're fooling yourself, that your psycho self is in charge and you don't know it, is pain and unhappiness and fear and guilt. So the Course teaches us how to take those emotions that we've been fighting to use to free us. Now when I feel guilty, I say, oh, I feel guilty. I must be disobeying the laws of God. Check it out. I feel guilty. I must be disobeying the laws of God. Check out what I just said. I feel guilty. I must not be telling myself the truth about something. Notice I didn't go immediately into how can I get rid of the guilt. I went, what is the guilt trying to tell me? It's telling me I'm lying to myself. Again. I'm lying to myself. Again. You just stop right there. Then you go into, well, what am I lying to myself about? And where am I lying to myself? And how was that lying to myself related to when I was a little kid? You know, it's like, if you just, because all of that stuff is the way that you keep from focusing on the real issue, which is the fact that you feel guilty means you're not listening to God. Because you could never listen to God the truth and feel guilty.
Thank you.
It's no guilt connected with love. There's no guilt connected to our Creator. So anytime I come up with any reasoning that I end up in guilt about, if I went out and I cheated on my wife and I felt guilty about it, I'm still not listening to God.
Wow.
Because God's way of getting me to look at that would not make me feel guilty. It would lovingly correct whatever it was going on in my mind that would make me want to do that, provided we had made the promise that it wasn't okay to be with somebody else. Some people don't have those kind of agreements. Follow what I'm saying? It's like the answer that comes from your true self will always make you feel more innocent, less afraid, and lighter. Any answer that's coming from your ego will always make you feel more afraid, more guilty, more confused, and more upset. Just stop there. Mm-hmm.
It's funny you say two people. I almost sometimes feel like there's three because like something happened, like I had this, call it a, definitely not the way I thought things would go down, and the response was not, just very harsh, and I was just kind of blown away by it. And so like I literally felt it sort of go through my body, and I was like, whoa, check that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember just like going, okay. And like I kind of listed all the human emotions I felt with it, like pissed, and then I went, okay, what's truth? And then I sat there in like a little while because my human, I guess, ego kept going, well, we got this, And then all of a sudden, like this calmness I kept going all like little things you say all the time, you're innocent, it's whatever. And I actually, it took a little while, but there was this part of me that now when I come across something that I don't like it, or it's not the way I think it should be, or whatever it is, and coming from someone, I'm getting into the habit of going, feel it, however it goes through my body, and then understand that they're also coming from whatever it is, or I'm seeing something in myself, and just understanding, and I kind of go to this neutral plane of innocence and perfection, like there's no problems, there's opportunities, and there's a pony in the pile somewhere. So it's funny how I just really see myself like dancing in the ego, and then like this, even if I don't have an answer and make it all neat and pretty, I just go, okay.
Well, when I say there are two of you, and by the way, the way that you handle it is perfect in my perception.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do.
Okay.
I was just the way the Course in Miracles describes it is that way. That's all. That's what you might say. I said too. You could read another book and it said there were 10 parts about self.
Right.
Okay, but I'm teaching through this, and what the feeling it is so important. Also, if I say forgive, and there's a part of you that feels immediate resistance, this is what it means. Would you like to know?
Well.
Your definition of forgiveness is wrong.
Right.
Right? I say it again. If I say forgiveness and you feel immediate resistance, it's your definition of what forgiveness means that's incorrect. You have the wrong perception of what forgiveness means. The wrong perception of what forgiveness means is, I have got to forgive you for what you really did to me.
Mm-hmm.
If that's your definition of forgiveness, somehow or another I'm going to read and I'm going to study and I'm going to get to the point that I can overlook what you really did to me. The Course in Miracles teaches you cannot and will not ever be able to forgive somebody for something they really did to you.
Right.
So don't even try.
Right.
You can only forgive somebody for something they didn't do to you. So as long as I see forgiveness as me trying to overlook something that my mama did to me, I'll never forgive my mama, and I shouldn't feel guilty about it because I can't forgive someone that I think has done something to me. So don't even try. Don't feel bad because you can't forgive somebody you think hurt you. You can't forgive somebody that you really think hurt you. You can't do it. You can fake like you're doing it, but you don't do it. He said you can only forgive someone that you see did not do something to you. So the Course in Miracles is a book in teaching you how to see and to understand that no one's done anything to you, ever. There's nothing to forgive. And when you realize that, you'll be free. So that's what the whole book is about. It knows we don't believe that. And so it's trying to teach us how to see that. But it says in order to do that, you have to forgive, which simply means I have to correctly perceive, truly perceive, correctly interpret. Those are the Course in Miracles definitions of forgiveness. So when I say I'm going to forgive my mama, I'm really saying I'm going to correctly interpret my mama. I'm going to correctly perceive my mama. That's what forgiving my mama means. So and then he goes, well, what is the correct perception of my mama? My correct perception of my mama is that let me see my brother's sinlessness. It's like I need to see her innocence beyond whatever it is I think she's done to me. I need to ask to see beyond what I think she's done to me. I need a correct perception. Then of course, okay, here's a correct perception. Your mama is just like you. That's novel. She, at the very least, is calling for help, has some kind of misperception. There's a call for love. She's asking for help. You could look at her that way. You really want to free your mama? Yeah, I really want to free my mama. How do I do that? Okay, Earl, this is a big one. You ready? I'm ready, Holy Spirit. What is it? Take complete responsibility for the way you experience your mama. Tell yourself your mama, you see in your mama exactly what you want to see in your mama. That you're seeing what you choose to see and she's doing everything you want her to do. Well, why would I want my mama to mistreat me, Holy Spirit? You don't love yourself. You think you're not enough. You feel unworthy in some areas. You have insecurities, Earl. You think you're alone and on your own, a black man in America. And so you expect to be mistreated because of the way you feel about yourself, and so you now have a mistreating mama. So there's nothing to forgive your mama for. She's playing the exact role you want her to play to make yourself feel bad because you don't think you're worthy. And everybody's playing their part to help you feel that way, Earl. Your mama, your daddy, your job, your money, your car, your apartment, they are all your judgment on yourself staring back at you. I'm like, I wish I hadn't even asked.
That's taking responsibility.
Now that's taking responsibility. So, let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you want peace?
Yes.
Yes.
Forgiveness opposite. Do you want happiness?
Yes.
Do you want a quiet mind?
Yes.
A certainty of purpose?
Yes.
A sense of worth?
Yes.
And beauty that transcends the world?
Yes.
Yes. Do you want care and safety?
Yes.
Do you want a warmth of sure protection always? Do you want a quietness and a peace that nobody can disturb, not even your boss?
Yes.
Do you want a gentleness that can never be hurt?
Yes.
Do you want a deep, abiding comfort and a rest so perfect that nothing can ever upset you?
Yes.
Forgiveness opposite. Oh. I was on the roll. I was on the roll till I see again, which lets us know what? That we still have what kind of perception of forgiveness? The wrong perception. Because see, when I came back to it, include myself, it didn't exactly make it. Why? So why don't y'all just admit y'all don't want to forgive and just be done with it? Why don't I just admit I don't want to forgive and just be done with it? You know what I'm saying? It's like if I'm having the feeling, which is I don't feel like I feel like it's still a burden and a sacrifice to ask me to forgive, then why don't I just be honest enough to just admit I don't want to forgive them now? And then admit to myself that I don't want to free myself now. I don't want my abundance now. I don't want my peace now. I don't want loving relationships now. I don't want a fulfilling career and purpose in the world now. I don't want to be free to do whatever I want to do every day now. Because it's exactly the same thing when I say I'm not ready to forgive. Then I won't be upset because I have none of those things. Because I wouldn't be expecting to have all of those wonderful things. If I don't forgive, and I want to hold on to my old way of looking at my mama, I shouldn't be expecting to have all this joy and happiness descend on me. You see, you follow what I'm saying? Because then you'll give yourself some peace. If I go, I'm not ready to forgive my daddy right now, maybe I'll be ready to forgive my daddy one day. Then you have peace about your grievance against your daddy. What's driving us crazy is this playing this bull game of I really want to be this loving way, but somehow or another it's just not happening. That's what I need to let go of that game. You know. So he's saying to me that correct perception is the key to happiness. Now, how do you know if you have an unforgiving mind? You got your book is on lesson 121 in the workbook. This is so cool. Okay. The Course in Miracles, I warn you, do not read the Course in Miracles if you want to think more highly of yourself than you should. Do not study the Course in Miracles if you want to think more highly of yourself than you should. Because the first thing it's going to do, it's just going to blow all of your theory about you being a nice person. Okay, you just want to set that one out to pasture for a little while. Your idea that you're this real nice person, that things are being done to unjustly and unfairly, you're going to have to get that one up. Now, when you get past that image, though, and you get a chance to see you're not such a nice person, you'll forgive everybody. And then you'll see the nice people and you'll be a nice person. For real. But the nice person is on the other side of the not so nice person that you admit. Which in a way is a kind of to me it's sort of like a take on that part in the Bible where it says, admit you're a sinner. And I used to hate that. That whole thing about admit you. And what he's saying basically, admit you're the one that's making the mistake. Admit that you're the one that's not seeing it correctly so you can be saved. And I'm like, of course. If I'm willing to admit that I'm the one that's making the error, then I just open myself up for all kinds of helpful, loving correction and healing to come to me. But as long as I'm refusing to ask because I think I'm not the problem, I can't get the solution to come through for me. So I like to admit to you all that if I think I'm experiencing any kind of lack in my life, financial lack, any kind of lack, I want to say to y'all, I have exactly the amount of money that I want. At this moment, I have exactly the amount of money that I want. Not a dime more, not a dime less. Now, in the next moment, I can choose once again. But in this moment, what I have is what I'm asking for. And I'm not going to blame anybody else for what I don't have anymore. Except when I do. So, in the second paragraph, he describes the unforgiving mind. So let's say we have an unforgiving mind. Just for fun, for the game of it, all right? Here we go. The unforgiving mind is full of fear. The unforgiving mind offers love no room to be itself. The unforgiving mind offers love no place where love can spread its wings in peace and soar above the turmoil of the world. The unforgiving mind is sad. Oh man, this is cold. The unforgiving mind is without the hope of respite and release from pain. The unforgiving mind suffers and abides in misery. peering about in darkness, seeing not, yet certain it's danger lurking out there. Does that sound like anybody? I don't know. It said the unforgiving mind is torn with doubt. The unforgiving mind is confused about itself. And everything is looking at it. No, I'm not just confused about me. I'm confused about y'all too. The unforgiving mind, I love, this is one of my favorites, is afraid and angry. Are you scary and mad? Then it says the unforgiving mind is weak but blustering. That's interesting. Have you ever blustered on somebody? That sounds kind of messy, didn't it? I'm gonna bluster all over you. You better get back. The unforgiving mind is afraid to go ahead, but afraid to stay where it is. The unforgiving mind is afraid to waken, but I'm also afraid to go to sleep. The unforgiving mind is afraid of every sound. What was that? What was that in the kitchen? You mean because I'm scared of that mouse, I'm unforgiving? Yeah! Where you think mice come from? And we had rats. I swear, man, we was like in a poor neighborhood, and we lived right next to a lumber place, and they just love to be in those kind of places. And I remember kids, sometimes I walk into the kitchen or something, and I see a rat that big, and I would like be like,
Mama.
I'm unforgiving. A rat. And my dream is a symbol of what I think about myself. So there's a part of me that thinks I'm a big rat. Thanks for that compassion, sunshine. Do you know that that's what enlightened beings are doing about all our problems? They look at us with a serious, holy look. On the inside, they go, "You're so ridiculous to think a son of God could suffer and be a victim, a child of infinite power could be a victim of every little thing that happens all day long." They laugh their cans off at us. Just like you did. Why? Because it's absurd.
It is.
It's absurd to think that you can't have a loving relationship with somebody. It's absurd to believe that you can't have enough prosperity and abundance to live your life every day without being worried about how you're going to pay your bills or if you're going to pay your bills. It's absurd to think you got to get up every day and do what you don't want to do all day long, then go to bed and do it again the next day. Knowing that you could walk in there tomorrow and they could say you laid off, the company's closing. You know. But when you were a kid and you read fairy tales, did they not always have some moral or some lesson? But you got caught up in the story, didn't you?
Right.
This is your fairy tale. Your life is your ashram. It's your fairy tale with the moral and the lesson, and you will then live happily ever after. And what you experiencing every day, what you are experiencing every day, what you are experiencing every day is what you went through in order to get to the point you lived happily ever after. So everything that happens to you every day is part of the plan for you to live happily ever after starting now. And every single person and every single circumstance, Earl, is custom tailor-made for you in your awakening.
Why don't we just come here awakened?
Well, that'd be the same as saying, you know, I want to have the experience of the play. This is a play. You know, why do you go to a football game? There's no real reason. You just do it for the fun of it. It don't really matter who wins, whether it's the Broncos or anybody else. Why do we go? We go because we like to play the game. You know, we're here because we like to play the game. We're playing the game of thinking we're separate from God. We're playing the game of pretending that we can be victims. We're playing the game of being human beings that live for a little while and die. We're playing the game. We're playing a game. This is a game. Forgiveness can only happen when you know it's a game. Because you can't forgive something that you think you're a victim of. If I say I'm the one that created it, where my girlfriend went out with somebody else, if for those of you that kind of stuff still matters, then that's what I created because I wanted to have that experience. The guy would have never shown up that she was into if I hadn't wanted to have that experience for a lesson in love that I needed to learn. So I don't have to forgive him, I don't have to forgive her. Like I said before, I had situations where somebody appeared to have broken up with me, but I was on the spiritual path, and what I asked them after feeling my feelings was, could I get together with the three of y'all, with the two of y'all, and blow you away? No, that's not what I said. I was just saying who was listening. My evil psychotic twin wanted to do that. But my real self said, I want to bless and release this because I created it and it's for my own best interest, and he is really a part of me. So even if you're with him, you're really with me. That's what I said. And I'd like to have an opportunity to do a peaceful completion, because I knew if I could do that, then I would be carrying baggage into my next relationship, which I didn't, and it was better than that one. That was a choice. Remember how I said forgiveness is a choice. See what I'm saying? I could choose to do it that way. I'm not saying you have to do it that form. Or I could have done it the way I had done it in the past, was to see myself as a victim of her having done me wrong. And then I got this other person that's not a part of me that I hate just because he's there. And then I could feel self-righteous about my anger. And then not have any of that peace he just told us about, any of that security, any of that, any of the abundance, any of that. You know what? I am too selfish. I am too selfish not to practice the truth anymore. I am too selfish. I care too much about myself to keep saying that anybody else is responsible for what I'm feeling, and that I'm trapped, and that I don't have a choice, and that I can't have it the way I want. I'm too selfish for that now. And I don't have any sympathy for people who still want to be that way. I have compassion. I don't have any sympathy. Because you're choosing to do it when you know you could do it differently, Earl. That's what the Holy Spirit talks to me, just like a voice. You just, you're a cute little chocolate thing, but you're the one that's doing it to yourself. And you can do it as long as you like. And you gotta let all your friends and all your relatives suffer as long as they like. It's part of your love for them. You let them be exactly as they are, as long as they want to be. Okay? Now what I'm gonna do to occupy my time? Well, I'm thinking that, Tahiti is nice this time of year. You mean while I'm giving my brothers their freedom, I have to occupy myself since I'm not interfering with them anymore, and I'm letting them be however they want to be as long as they want to be that way? Then what I have to be willing to do is have peaceful moments myself, because I'm no longer trying to fix anybody else and interfere with anybody else, so I got to do something here. And with that spare time you're going to have, Earl, we're going to study the truth, and you're going to have love, and you're going to have peace, you're going to have cool people in your life, you're going to be waking up, you're going to be having new experiences. That's all I ask you to do. And you're going to teach your Course in Miracles class, and you're going to share the truth as best as you know how, and then you're going to give it to everybody in the room, and then you're not going to have any concern about whether or not they do what you're suggesting or what's coming through you, because your job is just to give the gift. If you have continued concern about whether or not they're going to use the gift, then you're really attacking them because you're not trusting that they're strong enough and that the Holy Spirit is in them and they'll hear their own inner guidance and change when they get ready. So you can't have any concern about the students and people who come to your class about whether or not they're going to do anything that you suggest, because you want to free them. So you give them all you got and be okay if they come back or not. I'm going to take care of you whether they come back or not. And they're innocent and you're innocent, because you don't want to imprison the people in your life. You don't want to imprison them. And Earl, that's forgiveness. That's forgiveness. See them as yourself, see them as innocent, want them to be free. That's forgiveness. So loving people look like they're not loving. They look just like they're not loving because they don't interfere with you, because they believe you're powerful and capable, and that you can change your experience with the Holy Spirit anytime you get ready. So since you're not doing it, it means right now that's not something that you really want to do, and so I honor that completely by letting you stay exactly the way you are without attacking you for it. Now, am I going to hang out with you? Probably not, because I do want to change, and I do want to grow, and I do want to wake up, and I do want to hear the truth, and I do want to. That's okay if you don't want to do that. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't mean that you got to necessarily try to strike up an intimate relationship to save them. It just means you honor who they are, and then you show them that it's possible to be something other than sad and confused by the joy and the happiness that you are allowing yourself to have. They need to see you in Tahiti while they're all at home. Hey, from Tahiti, having a great time. Want to join me? You know how I know when that person wants to join you? What did he tell us? At that point, he'll say, I'm willing to try to see the person that I'm upset with differently. Now I'm ready to join you in Tahiti. Until I'm ready to see the person, me, and somebody else that I have the grievance with differently, then I want to stay in the same situation that I'm in. You know that's not true about you because you're here. The fact that you're in the room means you have the little bit of willingness that the Holy Spirit asked for to transform your whole life into joy. You don't have to doubt that you're ready for something new. You wouldn't be sitting in the chair, because it wasn't your ego that it's not your ego that brings you to the class. Your ego is the part that doesn't. The part of you that loves you is stronger because you're here. And the part of you that's psychotic is PO'd. You better believe it is mad and don't know, how did I get here? I didn't mean to come here. I ended up in here. I could be doing something else right now. Why are you listening to that crazy black man again? You know what I'm saying? The part of you that loves you is stronger than the part of you that doesn't love you. And so it says, at the end it says forgiveness is acquired. So, now, I got the main thing that I want to go through with you that will get you to that point of forgiveness that you want to get to. Okay? So here's the answer. And I realized that attention wanders. Remember what I said? It's okay for your mind to wander. Y'all little innocent mind wanderers. It's perfectly okay. And it's okay if I see your tonsils as you yawn, okay? It's all right. I kind of wanted to be a dentist at one time, so I get a chance to check a couple of y'all molars out every now and then while I'm up here. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. So we're going to do the financial expression of appreciation, and then I'm going to give you the answer that we're going to use right now. I figure I better get it now. I better do this while I can, while I still got some friends in the house. I sure appreciate y'all sharing with me in this full-time ministry that I do with the Course in Miracles. I really do. Thank you, God, for all that I have. If you're on the internet, you can go to my website, earlpurdy.com.
Isn't it your birthday soon?
Yeah, next month, yeah. 15th.
Oh, next month?
Yes,
Oh,
next month.
December?
This is December.
I'm a little
Yeah,
bit
I'm still in November. So, those of you on the internet, if you want to make a financial expression of appreciation, you can go to my website, earlpurdy.com. And if you are ready to get past some blocks for real, have a clarity session with me where I can use the course and everything we've learned, plus my knowledge of astrology and numerology. And what I do is, I'm real confident that the Holy Spirit, through me, gives solutions and ways to get past stuff. And so I feel really good about any sessions that I do. But I'm also aware that unless the person uses the material and the information consistently, they won't get the result. But that's not my fault. But what I can promise you is you will not come to me with an issue that I can't give you an answer to based on the course. Exactly how to deal with it. You don't have to keep suffering about anything. And I guarantee you, I'm somewhere in the range of a nice Bronco ticket. But worth a whole lot more. So just keep that in mind, that you probably spend money on things that are a lot less helpful and feel okay about it. And that doesn't mean bad, so it's not a judgment. I said helpful. It's different between bad, good, and helpful. I want to be helpful because I want to be helped.
Me too.
I do want to be helped. And I finally been in this long enough to know that giving and receiving is the same. See what I used to do, I used to wait for people to love me, and then I'd love them back. Or I'd wait for somebody to give me something, then I said, well, I'm going to give it. So I was wondering why nothing was showing up. And then one day the truth made me aware that he says the only thing that can ever be missing in any situation is what you're not given. When I read that in the course, I didn't like that at all. He said, because I was sure I had given some places that I hadn't received. So when I heard that the only thing that could be missing was, and he says, yeah, well, what's missing is your lack of faith, Earl. That's what's missing. I went, whoa, that's what's missing. Yeah, your lack of faith. You don't have any freaking faith, dude. But guess what? I love you so much, you don't have to have any. I'll help you even if you're faithless.
Good.
That's how much I love you.
Oh, yes.
And I went, wow, thank you. But here's the problem with that, though. See, if I don't love me, even if God's trying to help me, I still don't cooperate. And that's what I had to overcome. Like even if I was receiving the help anyway, but because of how I felt about myself, I wasn't availing myself of it. See what I mean? So even if you're being loved anyway, if you're with somebody and they love you more than you love yourself, and they try to love you even though you don't love yourself, you still don't let it in.
That's true.
So even though they're not withdrawing it, you just don't see it and experience it. And then, woo! But it never ends. Now it might change bodies. Now that person's body might leave. But the love's gonna keep on coming at you through many different forms and bodies until one day you let it in. So don't worry about it if it looks like one person leaves. Love won't. It'll just come to you through the person who will allow it now. It might not be the same person that you were with last week. So ask yourself, do you want love or do you want the person?
I want love.
I want love more than I don't want the person if ain't no love coming. I'm not that much into the body anymore. It was a time I was enough in the body that the bodily experience justified me being with somebody that, I really shouldn't have been with. But I was just so caught up in the bodily experience we were having with each other. I can't do that anymore.
I hear you.
I can't do it anymore. I can't ignore people's minds anymore. I used to do it so well. I was proud of our ability to never think about your mind.
Okay, where are we going?
Well, this is something I want to show you from the way of mastery. So I want you to hear this.
Thank you.
Always have.
Think of something to someone you have a judgment about. Now, only love can heal. Therefore, when you know what you judge, I want you to simply say, right now, you got your judgment? Go, ah, yes, that is that energy. I'm feeling that energy. I'm feeling that energy. I recognize that cloud that has just passed through the field of my awareness. I'm feeling that cloud of judgment that's passing through my awareness. I'm going to take a specific situation. It seems like this person doesn't really appreciate me the way I think I should be appreciated. And I think they just don't appreciate me. That's my judgment. So I'm going to tell myself, I recognize that cloud of judgment of thinking that that person just doesn't appreciate me. And it's just passing through the field of my awareness right now. But I can choose again. I feel judgment, but I can choose again. I feel judgment, but I can choose again. Now I'm saying it this way and taking my time to give you a chance to say it to yourself. Not necessarily out loud, but just to tell yourself, I'm feeling this energy. I recognize that it's a cloud that's passing through the field of my awareness. You can put it in your own words. And then you say, but I can choose again. Then remind yourself why you are doing this. I'm doing this because I want abundance, I want healing, I want the truth, I want fun, I want joy, I want love, I want connectedness, I want happiness, I want to be free. I'm not doing it for this other person. I'm doing it for me. See how that works? It's in your ordinary life that we now know is not ordinary at all. So you detect that you've been in judgment of someone, you've been in judgment of something, you recognize that that judgment is still with you. It is a present judgment. So when you notice it and bring awareness to it, you have made it a very present thing. So it is right here, right now, in front of you to be undone. And that is what you need to focus on. Tell yourself now, I am going to choose again. I'm going to choose again. I'm going to choose again. Notice there's a part of me, I'll be honest with y'all, there's a part of me that doesn't want to do this. And there's a part of me that believes a part of you that doesn't want to do this. And there's a part of you that does want to do this, and I feel like it's a part of me that does want to do that. Is this true? So in spite of that, say, I'm going to choose again. I'm going to choose again. Now, I want you to look back on your life, and I want you to think of an experience when you were the one that was acting from your ego, where you behaved selfishly, where you was manipulative, where you were hurtful and cunning, where you recognize and say to yourself, oh my God, I was really in judgment of that person. Oh, if I only could go back and undo it. In other words, think of the thing that you say to yourself, I wish I could go back and undo that. Everybody's got one. Where you say, man, if I had it to do over again, if I could go back and do that again, do you have it? Okay, then you know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, I want you to say, I'm going to say to you right now that you can undo it, even if it looked like it happened in the past, because everything is present. There's no such thing as past, there's no such thing as future, there's only now. So when you have thought that thought or that memory, and it's coming to you for a specific reason, it's a reason why out of all the things you could have thought about, you thought about this particular thing. Out of all the things you could have said you wanted to do over, you chose this one. There's a specific reason for that. So as a soul, you're learning about forgiveness. You're learning how to undo the effects of your previous choices. We're going to now undo the effects of our previous ego choices. And so it is being presented to you. This specific situation is coming back to you again so that you can make a new choice. So when that old memory comes up of what it is you thought you did to hurt somebody, or something you wish you could do over, something you wish you had done differently, first thing I want you to do is stay with it. Look at it. Recognize how your judgment was working at that time. And then say to that person, say to that event, say this: I judge you not. Now remember, you don't have to believe it. And you don't have to say it out loud, but you can if you want to. But don't make believing it necessary. Okay? That'll slow this whole process down. If you can speak words, you're capable of doing this. I judge you not. Then this is really important, the next one. It goes, I extend forgiveness to myself for what I have created. See, I created it. So I extend forgiveness to myself for what I have created. I extend forgiveness to, because I'm the one that created this mess, this thing I'm trying to, wish I had done differently. Because remember, I was cunning. I was the one that was selfish. I was the one that was angry. I was the one that was going off. So I extend forgiveness to myself for what I have created. Whenever you've lost your temper in the past, gone off, acted a fool, okay, you need to say, I extend forgiveness to myself for what I have created. I extend forgiveness to Earl for what he has created. I extend forgiveness to Earl for what he has created. You say it to yourself, and I suggest you call your own name. I extend forgiveness to myself for what I have created. I embrace you, and I love you. I embrace you, and I love you. I embrace me, I embrace me, and I love me. I love me, I love me, I love me. I embrace me, I love me, I embrace you, I love you, I embrace you, I love you. I free you to be yourself. 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 I free me to be myself. 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 I free you to be yourself. I bless you with the blessing of Christ, which is the same as saying, I bless you with the blessing of my true self. I bless you with the blessing of my true self. I bless you with the blessing of my loving self. I bless you with the blessing of my loving self. I bless me with the blessing of Christ. I bless me with the blessing of love. I bless me. I bless myself with the blessing of love. Then see that image, see that memory begin to gently dissolve into light until there is no trace of it. And then be friggin' done with it. Be done with it. I judge you not. I extend forgiveness to myself for what I have created. I embrace you and I love you. I free you to be yourself. I bless you with the blessing of love. Thank you, mighty companions. Do you acknowledge yourself, please? So what you want to say this week is forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness offers me everything I want. And then when you have forgiveness, use the word, you can use the word correct perception. Correct perception is the key to happiness. Correct perception offers me everything I want. Correct perception offers me. Forgiveness is correct perception. I extend forgiveness to myself means I extend correct perception to myself. What is that? That I'm sinless, that I'm guiltless, that I'm innocent, that I'm loved, that I'm spirit, that I'm unlimited. That's forgiving yourself. And that's what I want for me. So that's what I'm going to see in you. And when I look out there, I see it in you, whether you see it in yourself, so I can walk away today absolutely certain that I am finally willing to see my own innocence.
Yes.
Yeah, so I love you. Thanks for coming.
You know how we would get rid of our muskrats?
Love, muskrat love.
Because we had muskrats. Do you remember that part?